What's up, everyone? Today is Thursday, which means another This Week in Destiny or TWID. I haven't covered these too much lately since they haven't had really any good information so far this season, but the last couple weeks have definitely given us some really good insights on what's to come. And this week mainly focuses on what's headed our way next season, so let's get right into it. So first topic, I am really excited about this one. We have the Dragon's Breath finally making its way back to the game, with it being the Season Pass exotic that we will get next season. All I can say is that this version of Dragon's Breath is a definite reimagining of what we had in Destiny 1's version. I'm going to try to explain this as best as I can. I think I understand it, but let's go for it. Basically, you'll have something called the fuel counter, which will be a bar on the side of your screen by your buffs. It will passively increase the longer you go without firing the weapon, and it's going to get a maximum of 5 stacks. And when you fire Dragon's Breath, it will then empty this counter and it transfers all of the fuel that you're building up into the rocket as you fire it. The rocket you shoot will then embed itself into the target, and it will occasionally eject these incendiary fuel pools that will surround that target and will scorch anything it touches. And from what this is saying, it looks like the more fuel counter stacks that you have, the longer all of this is going to take place. But it doesn't stop there. High Octane, which is the second exotic intrinsic, will refill your fuel counter stacks when you get ignitions to proc, which it sounds like this is going to happen pretty frequently with all of the scorches that are taking place. Each ignition that happens will refill 2 out of the 5 of those fuel counter stacks on your screen, and when you get 5 out of 5 stacks, the weapon will actually reload itself. So this is absolutely insane. I know this is very confusing. I had to read it like 20 times, but it goes even further. When you get the catalyst, it's going to make it obviously more powerful. It's going to refill those fuel counter stacks even more quickly. And any kills that you get with Dragon Breath will generate fire sprites. My goodness, so much synergy with solar. Like, you should only run this with a solar build. There's so much going on. I love it. Can't wait to try it out. This is like an S tier exotic when it comes to creativity. I almost don't even care if it's good. It's just sounds like it's going to be so much fun to use. I don't think this is going to be a good DPS option by any means, but I think it's more so going to be a way to take out huge groups of enemies very quickly. And it sounds like it might come in handy in Grandmaster Nightfalls when shooting it at champions. Maybe it's going to do a lot of AoE damage. It just sounds awesome. Moving on, we've got some more info on the news that we recently got, in that we have some economy changes coming up, which it looks like it's going to be a net positive for newer and more casual players. It might be kind of a nerf for those hardcore veterans. Long story short, if you didn't know, legendary shards are just going away in the final shape, and next season we'll actually see a massive reduction to the amount that you'll need to use them. So instead, what they're doing is they're making a few other existing currencies like Glimmer, Ascendant Alloy, Ascendant Shards, all of that, more viable to create a better balance. I've seen some players with hundreds of thousands of legendary shards, like the crazy grinders, and others can barely stay over 100 at a time. There's such a big difference, so they had to do something about an unlimited currency. So Bungie is just removing them altogether, and they're not getting replaced by anything either. So that's how it's going to affect those veteran players that are losing out on years of work with those hundreds of thousands of shards. My recommendation for this, it's kind of a band-aid fix, but you want to just buy a ton of raid banners. That's really the only way that you can effectively use that currency, but you want to do that before they're gone, before the final shape, so you don't waste them. And just to finish up that section, they also talk briefly about how a lot of the ghost mods that we use will be receiving a huge reduction in their mod cost. This is going to allow us to equip more of those powerful mods all at once. Next up, Lost Sector buffs. Kind of random, but as it is right now, Legend and Master Lost Sectors are really used to get us exotic armor. It's kind of a way to kind of target farm that armor. Well, that apparently wasn't good enough, so in addition to exotic armor farming, we'll be getting those new Gunsmith Engrams that were kind of teased maybe a month and a half ago, and we'll also get some world drop weapons that actually have the ability to drop with multiple traits in each column to make chasing that god roll just a little bit easier. Just keep in mind that the added trait in each column will only be available from master runs, not legend, and like usual, to reap all of these rewards, you will want to make sure to get the platinum completion every time, and you do that by killing all the champions in that lost sector. And if you're wondering what world drop weapon is, it's basically just any weapon that drops from an enemy. So it's not going to be like a raid weapon that you get when beating an encounter or a dungeon weapon. These are just world drop weapons that you can get from anywhere. And the weapons that drop will be on a 4-day rotation, similar to how we have head, chest, arms, and leg days for our exotic armor chasing now. So it kind of matches up with that. And when this rolls out, only world drop weapons that have entered the loot pool in recent seasons will be available to farm in these lost sectors. Which the way I'm taking that is any world drop weapons that came out during Lightfall will be available in these lost sectors. Anything older than that will have to be focused at the gunsmith in the tower by using those gunsmith engrams I was talking about. And it sounds like any brand new world drop weapons that launch in Season of the Wish will be available as, well, random world drops. So just to recap, I know that was kind of a lot of information, but it looks like any world drop weapon that launched before the current expansion, so right now that would be Lightfall, will only be available to focus at Banshee. World drop weapons from the current expansion, so Lightfall, will be farmable in those Legend and Master Lost sectors, with the potential of an added perk only farmable in Master Lost sectors, and then brand new world drop weapons will drop randomly during the season that they were introduced. So I hope that all made sense, kind of confusing. So my thoughts. I think it sounds cool in theory, but will I really be grinding out for the perfect roll on most of these world drop weapons? No, probably not. I mean, there's a few good standout world drops that make their way to the game, like we get like maybe one every season, every other season. Harsh Language is a good one that I like to think of, but even then, I really don't think I'm gonna grind for these that hard. I always prefer to craft my weapons, get those enhanced traits, because they're just better than anything else. So kind of sticking on this Engram topic, let's talk about the ritual Engrams, or your Vanguard, Crucible, Gambit Engrams. It sounds like we're going to be getting a lot more of these to drop, as they want long play sessions to feel a little bit more rewarding than they are now. They will also be upping the cost of some of these focusing options. I'll put it on screen. This sounds like it's going to offset the more engrams that we're getting, but the way I'm taking this is it looks like this change is overall designed to bring us a net positive in the amount of loot that we get. So just a reminder, you want to make sure that you claim all of these ritual engrams at the vendor before the season ends, since they do get reset with every season. And a few more things before we finish up here. This is the last call for Iron Banner this season. If you're trying to grind out the Iron Lord title, maybe get a few god rolls on some of those weapons, you've got to get this done before reset, or just do it by Monday night. You can do it, I believe in you. And just so you know, the Dark Decider auto rifle and Ganora's axe shotgun are completely leaving the rotation next season, so if you want one of those, now's your only chance. Personally, I don't find that these weapons are anything game-breaking, but for the few people out there that really want those weapons, feel free to go for it. Next season, we will see the introduction of a new weapon called Lethal Abundance, which is a strand high-impact frame auto rifle, as well as the return of the Reese Walker lightweight shotgun, which I'm sure will come back with new traits to grind for. And finally, arguably the most exciting news so far, I always love these announcements. The new dungeon will drop on December 1st, so it's time to get ready. Of course, I will be making a guide for it like I always do with every new raid and dungeon, so make sure to stick around for that. And kind of a fun announcement here, I'm planning on making the launch of Season of the Wish on the 28th, my very first live stream. 90% sure I'm going to make it happen, we'll see. There's a couple things that I still got to make sure are good, but either way, I'm really excited to start streaming. I really want to interact with all of you guys live. But that is it for another This Week in Destiny. You can expect a lot more videos from me once Season of the Wish drops. Right now, I'm a little bit light on videos since there's really just nothing to make. So I like to take this time to reset a little bit, play some other games, and get ready for the grind that is the new season. But make sure to join the community Discord so you've got some other Guardians to squad up with for when the new season drops. I'm very active there, so I'd love to say hi to you. But that is it for this one, everyone. I will see you all in the Discord or in the next video.